squash this. I want to apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing for all of them.
I'm at the point of no return. I'm at that point.
Hey, you guys believe the
The point of no return. This was totally unnecessary. The way it went about for me, you keep going on the internet looking for internet sympathy.
It don't matter if you win or lose. Swing on them. That's my hitter. I feel I could beat them with a little lesbian, white girl. I just want to see if we can do it for fun. Let's go battle Cam and 50 because 50 stepped into the comms.
Dame says unity. Harlem hears an apology. Cam calls it point of no return, and the internet says cap. Tonight we're breaking down that olive branch, putting Dame's peace talk right next to the laughs, the receipts, and the fine print. If the paperwork and boundaries match up, it's leadership. If not, it's surrender disguised as wisdom. This time, Dame isn't firing shots from a podium. He's talking like a boardroom veteran.
I want to apologize to all of them because I know this was embarrassing for all of them. And I can't be violent and I won't be violent. My job is to keep them out of jail. So the only way I can deal with things is keep certain things out of the algorithm. Just to answer as soon as somebody says something. If y'all want to sit down and work it out and maybe do a TV show together, just showing the world that we can.
He admits the obvious first. It's embarrassing to Harlem. That flips the beef from a street clash to a brand issue. Great story, bad look. His offer? Simple but bold. Stop feeding the drama, meet off camera, then come back with something that proves Black unity sells better than petty clips. But there's a catch. In today's world, apologies turn into memes faster than contracts get signed. If fans think it's fake, they'll call it retreat. If they see proof, they'll call it leadership. That's why Dame's trying to shift the focus. From comments to results. He's laying out what a real paid in full revival would take. Rights, life rights, soundtracks, likeness, and who really controls the brand. If he wants Harlem's respect back, he needs signatures, not slogans. A neutral producer, a clearance plan, a real timeline, all on paper. But every time he preaches patience, someone else drops a punchline. The culture runs on code. Don't bring family in, don't embarrass the block, and don't turn pain into clicks. Still, Dame's message hits deep. If Cam keeps saying it's too late and 50 keeps marketing confidence like it's a trailer, then unity might look weak, unless the paperwork proves otherwise. The question is simple but serious. Can Dame flip embarrassing to Harlem into profitable for Harlem? In writing?
You guys believe the internet? You guys are adults that believe what you read and hear in the newspaper. You guys are talking about things with no research. That's not fair. Actually, I'm going to keep it on about it.
Did you own Paid in Full? Like, how did 50 Cent acquire ownership of Paid in Full?
Do you remember when 50 Cent was supposed to be putting out a documentary about Puff on Netflix?
Yes.
From Paid in Full? The thing there is I was there. I don't have to buy rights for my own story. I already told those guys' story. Now I'm telling my story, my Paid in Full. I don't have to buy the rights.
Two big roadblocks just crashed into Dame's olive branch. First, Cam's boundary. He's not arguing about contracts. He's saying straight up, trust is gone. When he calls it point of no return, he's not just talking drama, he's setting a rule. Things might stay friendly, but that partnership, it's done. Then comes the second brick, the trolling economy. Dame's old clip bragging we can beat 50 and Cam went viral, and that line alone turned peace talks into a punchline. Every time he tries to sound sincere, fans think it's strategy, not growth. Because how do you fight internet laughs with time and paperwork? If 50's flex is just showmanship, that's one thing. But if he's got real paperwork behind it, rights, deals, or shopping agreements, that laugh suddenly becomes leverage. Meanwhile, Cam's line in the sand won't be moved by signatures alone. It'll take something deeper, a code reset. No more dragging family names, no more recycled rumors, and no more public ammo. From here, we stack receipts. The next chapter dives into what owning Paid in Full actually means versus what it just sounds like. That's where Dame's claims will face the truth test. The word owns hits different in Hollywood. In reality, it breaks down into lanes: story rights, sequel rights, titles, trademarks, life rights from real people, music, publishing, and the right to even use images from the original movie. Owning one lane means you can talk about it. Owning all the lanes means you can build it. And that's where the prove it challenge comes in. So we're lining up every claim side by side and letting the footage speak. On one end, 50's moving like it's rollout season, confident captions, Harlem support, full green light energy. On the other, Dame's right on mic answering the big question everyone keeps asking. Did he really own what everyone now wants to expand? So how could anyone in 2025 claim ownership without Dame involved? The answer's buried in the fine print. Options, assignments, shopping deals, and that key difference between based on and authorized. Anyone who's ever tried clearing a docuseries knows the game. The internet crowns winners way before the lawyers even approve a single scene. Here's the real giveaway. When a right story is clean, execs brag about it loud and proud. But when it's messy, everyone suddenly turns into a visionary, while the lawyers quietly untangle the chaos behind the scenes. That's exactly where Dame's olive branch starts to look more like strategy than softness. He's saying, let's sit down, on or off camera, and talk like grown men about Harlem's legacy. Who actually wrote the original paid in full script? Who holds the rights for the remake or sequel today? Can the title even be reused? And did anyone lock down life rights from the real people behind the story? If those answers check out, then 50 walks away winning both the narrative and the business. But if those details come up cloudy, then Cap stops being just a diss and starts sounding like the truth behind the hype. But there's another path. Coexistence. It's totally possible to build a brand new series inspired by the same real events without touching any protected parts of the original movie. That's a whole different product with a whole new promise. It can actually work, but only if the audience believes the new team still has access to the real people and the tiny details that made the first paid in full feel so real. And that's where the olive branch comes back in. If Dame's really about unity, the smartest move isn't another post, it's paperwork. The fastest way to turn laughter into respect is to move the talk from captions to contracts and show Harlem the receipts. Real dates, signatures, and deliverables, that's what shuts down rumors without a word. And slowing down might actually save them all from future problems. Throwing around "we own it" too loosely can mess up relationships with estates, unions, or rights holders you'll need later. And making false claims publicly, that can turn into a major headache real quick. The smartest version of this battle isn't flashy, it's solid. A clean trail of ownership, a schedule of real deliverables, and 3 grown men who realize Harlem wins the most when nobody's forced to lose. Now let's talk about the one thing that twists every argument: money optics. The Breakfast Club turned it into a meme game. Numbers pulled out of context, paperwork turned into personality tests, and a whole generation trained to treat bankruptcy like a breakdown instead of a business move. Dame's trying to flip that script, reminding folks that fatherhood costs money, lawsuits cost money, and restructuring isn't failure. It's how a business survives to fight another day. But none of that matters if the only thing social media respects is humiliation. That's the crack the trolls sneak through. 50 built a second career on precision time shade, 7-word captions that travel further than a 40-page contract. You don't need to win in court to win the crowd, you just have to make the other person look unserious. And every small flex becomes ammo. So when Dame jokes about beating 50 and Cam with a white lesbian rapper, it's obviously performance. But online, screenshots turn theater into evidence. It blurs the message, makes the peace offering look defensive, and gives haters the easiest split screen ever. Calm apology on one side, cocky clip on the other. That's why talk isn't enough anymore, it needs policy. Step 1, separate family from content. No sons, no partners, no personal struggles turned into promo. Step 2, overshare the business. In plain language, what are the revenue streams? Who are the partners? What's the next real milestone and who's signing it? Step 3, build something that moves Harlem's scoreboard, not just egos. Like a funded pilot with neutral producers, a cleared soundtrack moment that only real relationships could pull off, or even a community investment that proves they're putting money back where they took attention. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. Audiences actually love vulnerability, but only when it's real and not turned into a weapon. If you really want to kill a rumor, drop facts that can't be twisted. Things like an audited statement, a judge's order, or a dated deal memo speak louder than any argument. Then stop feeding the trolls. They only survive when new drama drops. Replace defensive posts with progress updates, table reads, location locks, casting announcements Harlem can actually cheer for. That's how you flip the algorithm, by feeding it results, not reactions. And yeah, people will still laugh, but that's fine. Laughter is cheap, delivery is expensive. The longer the paperwork stays clean and the projects keep moving, the more those old clips start to look like relics from another era. At the end of the day, nobody argues with a premiere date. Harlem judges by who brings something finished and who keeps recycling the past. If the apology's real, it'll evolve, maybe into a partnership, or at least into peace, because in Harlem, public back and forth are already a loss. When Cam said point of no return, he wasn't talking contracts, he was talking culture. That phrase means the line wasn't crossed on paper, it was crossed in principle. When private friendship got turned into public content and a personal boundary became a public challenge. Once that happens, an apology has to do more than sound calm. It has to fix the code. That's why Dame's olive branch hits so direct. Embarrassing to Harlem wasn't a weak line, it was a warning. Harlem's rules are bigger than both men. No family talk, no cheap circus, no staining the block for clicks. And if you break those rules, the only way back is to over-respect the code in public. That means fewer captions, more structure, a real sit-down off camera, a clear on-camera statement of terms, and a finished project that makes Harlem look stronger than the beef ever did. They've got popcorn in hand, watching every move. Dame's seeing it from the OG side now. Kids watching legends and legends watching the crowd, all waiting to see if he slips into the meme zone. That's why his apology feels different this time. It's not about losing a debate, or it's about refusing to keep feeding one. If the real mission is to stop embarrassing Harlem, then the first step is to stop giving the internet a cheap version of Harlem. The politics of it are simple and tough. The first man to shut down the circus, if his paperwork and principles line up, looks like a leader. But if that silence isn't backed by something real, it starts to look like surrender. And in this era, the loudest caption always wins the crowd. In today's world, if you sound like a green light, you are one, at least until the lawyers say otherwise. That's how 50 keeps winning rounds without ever flashing a single signature. He sells confidence like it's inevitable. And that's how a serious apology can get flipped into comedy so fast. When the crowd believes the rumor, a grown man's move suddenly looks like a white flag. The only real fix: move slower than a caption but faster than a rumor. Put facts in formats that can't be clipped, deal memos, dated milestones, clean paper trails, then go quiet until the next update drops. Memes die when there's nothing left to eat except progress. But drop one careless flex and they'll feast on it for a week. Even Dame knows the game. He calls out the joke machine while still joking. And that's the trap of the internet court. You try to control the story and end up feeding it. The solution isn't a better comeback. It's starving the beast with boring excellence, dates, deals, deliverables. So here's the real blueprint moving forward. Policy, not posture. No family names, no rumor recycling, no fresh meme ammo. Just proof, not vibes. If 50's claim is real, make it public with paperwork. If Dame's cap call is right, then walk Harlem through the details. Yet what's cleared, what's not, and why. Next up, products, not posts. Announce something no one can argue with, like a confirmed table read on the calendar, locked clearances, or a neutral producer cosign that actually means something to the borough. Because when the internet becomes the judge, the only real appeal is delivery. Each milestone makes every old punchline sound like yesterday's rerun. But here's the real roadblock: no contract can bulldoze a personal wound. Cam's boundary isn't about paperwork, it's about how a friend handled a friend in public. And if that's the damage, the only fix is a private repair before any rollout. No captions, no cameras, just a room, a real apology, and a clear decision. If Dame wants peace to read his strength, he's got to remember, you men do, memes don't. That means 3 steps in order. 1, principles, a public promise to keep family out of content, period. 2, paper, full clarity on paid and full rights on record from whoever really holds them. 3, product, a real milestone the city can circle, showing Harlem that this time is business, not just buzz. That's the real grown man pivot. Take the fight off Instagram and move it to the signature lines. If everything checks out clean, everyone gets to save face. 50 keeps his momentum, Cam keeps his code, and Dame proves that Olive Branch was never a white flag, it was a blueprint. If he really stands on business over banter, the only question left is, do the other two want to win bigger than a laugh? Because jokes fade fast, but premiere dates don't. Dame already showed his hand, telling Harlem to judge him by what he delivers next, not what got clipped last. Cam drew a line no contract can erase, and 50 smirked his way through it, selling confidence like it was already signed and stamped. We've seen this play before, apology versus algorithm. But the only twist that changes the ending is execution. So if the next headline we see is about a locked clearance or a confirmed table read, that laugh track dies on its own. But if not, the internet wins again. Here's the bet. 3 men who built entire empires still know how to build one more thing: silence when it's time to work. Harlem will believe the unity talk the moment they can circle a real release date on the calendar. Until then, it's all just reruns playing on the timeline. If you're still here, show some love, like, share, and drop a comment about how you see this story ending. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss the next big chapter. It's only getting deeper from here.